here, but yeah, it's part of the. I've heard a lot of stories from both sides, but I've heard from LSU fans before about how coming it's just really cool to meet other fan bases.
What is the script that you're giving Notre Dame to win the game? Obviously, I mean, running the football and Ian Book's got to play well, but what is the script for Notre Dame to win this game?
I don't think there's any player in the country that has to be more productive for their team to win this week than Ian Book. Like, Ian Book has to be great because he's got, and it's got to be with his legs. He's got to run the football effectively. He's got to scramble and throw the football effectively. He's a really talented kid, and if Notre Dame's going to come down here and pull off an upset against a Georgia team that's more talented than them, it's going to have to be Ian Book playing really not good, like really good, like beyond good levels to great levels.
What is the difference in the game for you? I mean, what is the difference maker? Is it Swift? I mean, what is the difference maker?
Ian Book is the difference maker. I mean, just what I told you. If Notre Dame's going to win, Ian Book's the difference maker.
So is this your first time covering game day back here?
Second,
Okay.
2013 LSU,
Okay.
44-41. Aaron Murray versus Mettenberger.
That's right.
OBJ was wide receiver. Jarvis Landry, Jeremy Hill, right? Yeah, I mean, it was a good game. It was a dogfight back and forth.
So coming back here, so what's it like for you, and then for Maria as well to come back here? Where you?
I hate Maria. She's so annoying. She's so annoying. As the media people cringe. It's always cool, man. I mean, first of all, sleeping in my bed ain't bad, bro. Like, I literally yesterday I was like, what am I doing? Because I gotta go to work tomorrow, but I'm at home in my bed with my kids and my wife, and I'm like, this is awesome. So it's cool to come back. It's cool to see the campus. It's changed a lot. You know, I'm old now, so there's a lot of things that are different, but it's cool to see the Dog fans. It's cool to see the church. I don't get to go to games. I mean, you gotta realize I went to the Rose Bowl a couple years ago because we covered it. But besides that, I don't get to come to games. I'm always somewhere else, so it's cool to be home.
What happens to the winner of this game? What happens to the winner
They
of
win.
this game? No, but
If you win, you get a W. If you lose, you get an L.
later on in the season, for the season.
If Notre Dame loses, they're out of the playoffs. If Georgia loses, they're still in it. But Notre Dame still has Virginia, which is a top 25 team. Michigan right now is a top 10 team, top 11 team. But USC is not what they were. Stanford's not what they were. Georgia would have more opportunities to come back, but Notre Dame, I think last year it's interesting. You had a debate last year if undefeated Notre Dame deserved to be in the playoffs. There is no conference championship for Notre Dame. They're independent. So I think it'd be, if they lose, I think they're out of the college football playoff.
David, you've had to go up against elusive pass rush before. How does it change the mindset of those edge guys for Georgia? Please talk about that.
It sucks. Okay, can I say that? Can I say it sucks?
You just did.
Okay, it sucks. Because when you're a pass rusher, your number one goal is to get by the tackle. Those tackles aren't small, so you want to run around them, not through them typically. So you try to get the edge and you try to bend and you try to get around the corner and get to them. Well, when you do that with a guy like Ian Book, he steps up in the pocket and now there's nobody there. So it becomes more of a speed to power, which means I try to keep him in the cage. I try to keep the hamster on the wheel, not let him out. You know what I'm saying? Like, you try to push with gap integrity and push the tackle back into him as opposed to trying to sack him all the time. And I'm just telling you, I want my sacks. Like, I want my numbers, dude. I don't want to just get pressures and keep the guy in the cage. So that will be a huge deal. Last year, SEC championship game, Georgia stunk at it against Jalen Hurts when he came in the ball game. They're going to have to be better at it.
Nolan Smith, the guy that you've been in.
Freak-a-leak. Nolan Smith is a freak-a-leak. You watch number 4, you're going to see all you can see. I mean, he's one of my favorite players I've studied so far on tape. You talk about a true freshman, he's going to be unbelievable. He's got a motor, first of all. You can tell he loves the game. But you watch him run over offensive tackles so far early in this season. I know, listen, the competition hasn't been great, but he's an adult. He can sit at the big boy table, and I'd play with that dude anytime.
David, when these two teams met a couple years ago, they were coming off seasons that probably weren't that impressive, considering like both fan bases.
Yeah.
So, and they've both been to the college football playoffs since then. So, are you a little impressed to see both of them make strides and kind of trending in the right direction?
Well, I mean, Brian Kelly for several years ago had a really bad season. I think 3 years ago, and everybody was like, "Oh, crud, what's going on?" But rebounding because he's a great coach. And I remember saying them because I remember sitting with Feinbaum, and he was like, "They should fire Brian Kelly." I'm like, "You're on drugs. What are you talking? Why would you fire Brian Kelly? He's a great coach." So Kirby, what he's been able to do in both these team programs, you can tell that they've put themselves in great position to be national championship caliber teams and going to the playoffs. And I think both big brands that people are excited about and that people follow. And of across the country. So it's been a good job by both coaches.
Is there a specific player that hasn't really broke out yet that has like pretty good potential of doing it this game?
We just talked about Nolan Smith right over here. Nolan Smith for Georgia, number 4, is a freak show. He's an outside linebacker that can play that people haven't heard of yet, but he'll be an All-American outside linebacker. He's that kind of good for Georgia, so he's going to do just fine.
Have you seen enough from Georgia to say whether or not the 2019 edition is better than the 2017 edition? How would you compare them?
The 2019 is more talented team than the 2017 team. That's fact. That's not even debatable. Like 2017, Kirby was playing players that were really smart, that were in the right position, that weren't necessarily athletic freaks. Now it's really fun to have both. Like he's got a combination of athleticism across the board. They're deep in every single spot. And what does that mean? There's competitions in every spot. That's the biggest thing, guys. When you go to practice and you're the guy and there's nobody to push you, you don't work as hard. When you go to your job at home and there's nobody pushing you, you don't work as hard. But when you got somebody breathing down your neck to take your job and take your spot, it makes you work harder. And Georgia's got that at every position across the board. And they're one of the most pounded teams in the country.
George Pickens is a guy who's impressed as a true freshman. Your thoughts on
He sucks, too. He's terrible. No, I mean, somebody has to step up at wide receiver for Georgia and be the guy. And I'm interested to see if it's Pickens, if it's Blaylock. Demetrius Robinson's a little bit banged up. Kurse got banged up early in the year. So somebody's going to have to carry that. Somebody needs to get on a page with Fromm that we saw several years ago with back shoulder fades and a guy that he can trust. Because if you're going to point to a weakness at this team or a question mark for Georgia, it's the wide receivers. There is no other question mark on this team. Everywhere else is pretty solid.
Dave, you know this program as well as anybody. Is Georgia just kind of tapping into its potential here at the program, and how long can they sustain what Kirby's done the first few years here?
I've been telling, I live around here, and I've been telling a lot of Georgia fans that are psychos that love the team and follow it, that I told them 2 years ago, and I'll say the same thing this year, and I'll say the same thing next year. You're living in the days of where it's going to be the best in Georgia football history. It's a good time. If you need a team out there and you're in college football, like Georgia's a good one to pick. I mean, if you're going to buy stock, this is a team that they're stocked across the board. You look at all the 5-star guys and all the recruits and the discipline they play with now and the toughness they play with. They're not going anywhere.
That's it. Thank you.
Thanks, Dave.
Yeah.